It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
From the heart of Appalachia, located under a shopping mall near the city that moves mountains, you're listening to Here to Chew Bubblegum.
Nine, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Greetings and Merry Christmas.
I've come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass, and I got all fucked up because I'm all out of bubblegum.
Hi, Flockers.
Merry Christmas, Flockers. And we do have a very special guest, Joe from fedupgear.com. Be sure to check out that website for some cool merch of the flock, Here to Chew Bubblegum, all kinds of other fellow podcast creators and so forth. Joe, let me be the first to wish you a Merry Christmas.
Thanks. Merry Christmas to you.
Welcome back to the show.
I got a little reprieve tonight because Dirty Dan is here, so I didn't have to pull the intro line off.
At least you didn't mess it up like he did tonight.
Yeah, Dirty Dan, you messed up.
Mr. Bob fucking Humbug up there.
Oh, no, I'm the one that said Merry Christmas. So
right after I started. Roll the tape.
Oh, my gosh. Again, this is the Christmas episode. Merry Christmas, everyone. We're not going to be doing any email next week on the show, which will be like a best of behind the scenes. We will have some of our favorite listeners, some of our favorite peeps reading emails for us. So be sure to tune in for that. I will be guiding you through the clips, and we may have some other things along the way. I know during this episode, whenever we take a break, I do have a song that I'm going to be playing during the break. It is one of my favorite. And some people think it's a Christmas song, and it may be a Christmas song.
Oh, he fucked up.
Goose?
Houston?
We have a problem.
Goose, you're the problem. Oh, no. So, Joe, what did you want? Did you bring any topics for today?
Oh, hey, don't forget, you can always text or call into the show and leave a voicemail. And if you want to play it, you can do that by dialing the number 606-373-3396.
I am hopefully coming back in.
373-3396. Hey, buddy.
Hey, man. How's it going?
We were just trying to keep rolling.
Oh, thank you very much. Like I told you, man, my internet sucks back here. It just shut down.
So you're still like your box. I had to remove it from the stream, but like it just went away. Your other like internet, your other connection box was still there.
I was actually still talking as I was doing the podcast. I'm like, well, but I just got kicked off, and we're going back to the page again. We're going to try it again. Hopefully, I was saying all kinds of stuff. So,
do you want to go back to the Christmas song?
What I was going to say was, in this episode, you will hear the song "Hallelujah." That's one of my favorite Christmas songs, or songs. Period. I bet Rebecca has no idea what I'm talking about.
From Shrek.
Hallelujah.
Was it in Shrek?
Yes.
Probably.
Okay. Joe, do you know the song I'm talking about?
Do you have a clip of it ready, Goose? You can just enlighten them with.
Well, I do have a clip of it. As a matter of fact, it is not ready.
Wow.
But here, I actually do have a clip of it. Let me pull it up here. What the heck is going on? What's that?
Why am I?
See, your internet's messing up too. Richard does not want us to have a Christmas episode.
I
right.
got run over by a Ford fucking Ranger.
Oh yeah.
Is it still repeating?
No.
Okay.
Okay. So, who was that said? I made a YouTube covering that song. I mean, so you're a fan of the song too, as well. And here is the song. Here's a little clip from the song. Let's get over here. Hopefully, I won't get kicked off again. A lot of technical difficulties.
I don't know. You're getting a little scratchy there, buddy.
Am I really?
Yep.
I heard there was a secret chord.
You guys heard that, right?
David played and it pleased the
It's from
Lord.
Shrek. Well, it's not from Shrek, but
It's
in
not
Shrek.
from Shrek, but
Yeah.
can confirm it's in Shrek. Trust me, we've watched that movie enough.
Right, and that's why I knew that.
I used to have to watch Shrek a lot. The only one I remember is, "Hey, now you're a rock star. Get your game on." Or no?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Smash Mouth was in there, and it's
Yeah.
sad.
Yeah.
That
And
What
then
was that
the-
song? There were a couple other songs that were in
Died.
there too, but
Yeah.
yes, good song. Good song.
Thank you. So, and it's. I mean, and that song's been around forever. And Joe, I want your opinion on this. When you get older, it seems like songs mean a different thing to you. Like they're more meaningful than what they were versus, when you were younger. And I'm not saying you're old at all. I'm just saying that with age comes growth and wisdom. And do you look at stuff like that as well, my friend?
You're
Dirty
muted,
Dan. Be
Joe.
quiet.
Sorry. It's crazy if you you kind of understand a song that you've listened to for a while and had no idea what it was about. One of those songs that was like a revelation for me was the Pumped Up Kicks.
Yes.
I had no idea when I first heard that song that it was about a school shooting.
Oh yeah.
Same.
And when you actually realize what that song is about and go back and listen to it again, it's pretty wild.
Yeah, it is. I had no clue. I was, better run out, run my gun. I had no clue it was about a school shooting.
Well, it's because the melody is like super upbeat, but the lyrics are dark as fuck. What's the other song that was about? It was a TikTok for a while, and it was like I was 2 years old when I realized this was about a blowjob. I can't remember what's the song. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, you showed me that one not too long ago.
You're talking about the one from Madonna? Was that it? Was she the one? I'm pretty sure
Like
it was
a
Madonna.
prayer. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and man,
I think it's because we get hooked on the melody and the tempo. Like there's a lot of times where I like songs and like I'll get into the song and like I like the way that it sounds, and then I actually like take the time to focus on the lyrics, or like I pull them up and I actually think about it, and it's like, oh, okay, that's all right. Well, that makes sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, when I was a teenager, two songs actually helped bring me through some dark times. The first one is One by Metallica. And the second one was 18 and a Life by Skid Row, because that kind of made me realize if I did not change my ways, I was going to be Ricky, serving 18 to life. So I did a complete 360. And those really did help me through some dark times. So what was that, Dirty Dan?
Well, if you did a 360, wouldn't that make you like a master fucking criminal that wouldn't be caught?
Dude, have you not been watching my TikToks? You have to be a criminal to be a good, effective police officer. I mean, seriously, think about that. And I'm being, so. And I may edit that part out of the show.
Why? You're not a career criminal. I mean, cop anymore. So.
Well, no, I'm not. But hell, I don't want anybody to think that. Dude, I was the type of cop that you would have loved to have dealt with. Because I let more people go and took more people home, and I could not count the times how many times I drove through a drive-through to feed people before I took them to jail. Actually, had to take them. I'll mention this real quick, and I'm gonna turn it over to Joe. Someone sent me, and I get emails sent over the TikTok, and someone sent me an email, and I've not made a video yet because I'm banned from my current account, even though there's no reason to ban me because the mistake was on their end. The video should have never been pulled, and it was restored, but yet I'm still banned. But the email basically just asked me, did I ever arrest someone that didn't deserve it? And the answer is yes. But let me explain. It was in January. It was a very cold night. And this was long ago, like 2004, 2005. And this homeless guy who I knew was homeless, but he had a reputation as being a rough ass. I mean, he would beat your ass in a heartbeat. I mean, if you had to go take this man to jail, you would go 4 or 5 deep, because it would take that many. And he come up and he knocked on my window and he asked me, could I run him for warrants? And I said, sure. So I did. He didn't have any. And this man in the wintertime always wore a t-shirt and cut off jean shorts and no shoes. In the summertime, the only thing that was different is he had no shirt on. So he would not let me take him to a motel because it was, quite a distance away from where he liked to stay at. He would not let me take him to a homeless shelter. And he said, is there any way that you can do? I'm starving. I'm freezing to death to get me lodged in the jail. I said, no, I can't. And, he was like a lifetime alcoholic and he smelled like alcohol all the time. Even if he hadn't been drinking, if he would sweat alcohol. He was one of those people that was a true alcoholic. And so he's like, well, I've been drinking. I'm like, well, that's not going to work because, 4 hours later and $2, they're going to turn you loose. You'll be out in the same thing. He's like, well, what would make me get to stay in for at least 24 hours? I'm like, well, if you wait here just a minute, and some more people come in and you start, because it was like after midnight. And I'm like, you'll have people on a third shift stopping here at this little gas station. If you go in and raise a scene and start cussing and, stuff like that, that's disorderly conduct. If they call me, then I can take you to jail. You're in there for 24 hours. He's like, all right, I'll see you in a little bit. So he goes, he raises hell in his store. And I go and I take him to jail. I pull in, he comes out, gets in the back of the car, and I leave. So when it went to court, I dropped it. I told him I did not want to press charges because I only took him to jail so he could survive that cold winter's night. So, Joe, I hope I didn't bring things down. I'm turning it over to you, my friend. You can talk about topics or a topic or whatever you want, man. It is yours, Oh,
there goes my dog. So I guess where we left off the last show, we were into some flat earth stuff, and I decided to hang my sword up on that because I feel like I've kind of brought it on hard, and I do feel like I enlightened some people on it and got them to do their research. But at the same token, that's it's kind of like the political battle where it just brings on just as much hate as it does any good. And I ain't there for that. I like doing my 5x5s. It keeps me focused on positive research and beneficial stuff. I'm searching for holistics, trying to find somebody else that's doing something good so I can lift somebody else up during the day, find a link that's going to help somebody, like just to keep my mind all in the positive. The reason that I was so adamant about still doing the flat earth was it's like the only rabbit hole that you go down that doesn't end in evil. It's actually God at the bottom of that rabbit hole as opposed to Satan, which is where it seems every other rabbit hole leads to. So that was why I kept pushing that one. And I also believe that that is the rabbit hole that is going to break us out of this matrix. So I did a final video explaining that, and there's other great people that are spreading the truth on the flat earth. I'm not going to keep battling with all the haters and everything over it.
Well, you know, I can understand haters because I have them. But it's, and Daniel actually said on yesterday's show that he feels sorry for people like that are not aware of, that are not truly aware of what's really going on. That just think everything's fine and dandy and life is a bucket of roses. Those are the people that are going to come to people like us that are going to need help. Now, it's going to be each person's choice whether to help that person or not. If I'm able to, I would. But, and something's telling me to say this, so I'm just going to say it. If someone chooses to help someone that is closed-minded, and I'm even going to use the word racist, and, you can be racist against anything. Do not trust that person. Do not turn your back on that person because that person is dangerous. Dirty Dan, what's your thoughts?
I agree on that. Her and I both were in a situation where I thought someone who was not who they said they were, and the moment the back was turned, just raging knife through it. But I hear where Joe's coming from on that. I don't get hate really on TikTok. I've kind of taken a step back from all that stuff with life going on, but I know I've seen her time and time again go through it and feel for her with the hate and the trolls and the idiots on there. Like, keyboard commando, stand down, just do your research on the topic that you're going to just sit there and spew hate about before you sit there and spew hate about it, because you look stupid and you make it very unenjoyable for the creators and the people who are wanting to learn or are interested in it. And it's just frustrating to fucking watch.
Some of these topics, and the flat earth being a major one, and I guess I would equate it to kind of like the Trump, whatever, the Trump tards or whatever, the anti-Trump people, right? So there are like armies and off-platform allegiances that these people go to and send out to message boards to come and attack you. The defenders of the globe are like, there's a serious organization where within minutes of putting up a post there, you see all the same accounts and everything coming at you. You know that they're all like banded off together somewhere to come, and I imagine there is obviously paid shills and stuff for that too, to keep control of that narrative. So it's a difficult battle on a social media platform.
They just have like a Discord page set up with a group of targeted people. The moment it's released, bam, here's the link, go get them.
Yep.
And like with the whole flat earth thing, like I've spent hundreds of hours in the air at 35,000 plus feet from traveling so much. And when Rebecca had showed me that the model where she said it's like the two Frisbees, like that made the most sense to me, because then it started thinking like, okay, well, knowing aviation and all that, there are certain flight paths where sometimes you just make a turn and go a different way for no obvious fucking reason. Like, what are they doing here? Like, why are they going this way? And Wanda and I have had a discussion about that several times, and it's just like there's something out there that is not what they say it is, and no one's going to say anything else about it. And I don't think the earth is just straight flat, but I think what she has said is what makes the most sense to me with that inner earth.
I kind of had taken that approach too, because I was actually describing what I had pictured in my head, and Rebecca dug into her binder and pulled out a picture.
Yep.
And she's drawing what I was trying to describe. And in all honesty, my biggest battle with this is about the deception. It's about the religion and the education system and the government all capitalizing and controlling human beings through this deception. It's NASA that angers me. I don't give a fuck what the shape is. I don't care if it's an egg, a pear, a hollow, a dual, whatever. That doesn't matter to me. What matters is these people are lying to everybody and
Profiting from it.
and profiting. But not only that, aside from maybe the shills and the people that are paid to promote that narrative on there are people that are instantly like enraged because this is something that is brought onto you from the crib. You have a solar system mobile hanging above your head. The globe is in the classroom. Like this is so ingrained in your life, and it's so enraging to some people to accept the fact that they bought into something that wasn't true, that even if they know it's bullshit, they're still just going to keep defending it because they have such a hard time with accepting the fact that they were duped. And it just makes it a tough topic to battle.
And now that you said that with the globes in school, like I just realized I wish I would have paid more attention in my 6th grade science class. It was Earth Science was the name of the class. It's Mr. Devlin, because he had a map and he never had a globe. He had a map. And I distinctly remember the Earth being flat on there and almost like an hourglass shape. And he always taught a little differently. And now I wish I would have paid more attention to that. So Mr. Devlin, if you are listening to this, I am sorry.
And Mr. Devlin, we want that freaking map.
Yeah. Yeah.
I want to see that thing.
Well, it shouldn't be hard to find him. Just go to PA and look for a broken down Saab on the road because he was obsessed with them and they're the most unreliable car. So just find the broken down Saab. You'll find Mr. Devlin.
Joe, and you know, I'm going to say this, and I'm guilty of it as well. You know, first, you know, Landon, like I said before, I'm not totally so sold on the whole flat Earth thing. I am open-minded to it. I'm open-minded to almost anything. I respect and value everyone's opinion. First of all, to have the balls to get on a social media app and state your opinion, that is really hard to do. People do not realize it. The first TikTok I ever really got into and really made took me about an hour because I kept messing up so much and going back and deleting it. So people don't understand the work that does go into it. So my hat is off to you. Now, you said that you get mad or upset or pissed off or irritated at the haters. I used to do that. Not on TikTok, but years ago, I was in a very dark place and would do stuff like that. And I may have even said this on the show before. You know, if you let another person have that much control over you to make you that upset. No, I'm not saying that there's not times that I don't do it.
Oh, no. I'm not. I didn't say I get mad. I just don't. I don't want that negative energy.
Right. Okay.
All I'm doing really is protecting my own energy. Like, you can come and put all the laughing faces you want and call me the stupidest guy on the internet. I don't really give a fuck. That don't matter to me. You're the one who believes you're on a spinning ball doing 666,000 miles an hour through every fucking direction, whatever. Like, that don't really insult me. You can call me stupid all you want. It's just that negative energy or something where I can spend my time doing these research on the holistics and like all kinds of positive things and just keep all my energy positive. Like, why engage with these people? First of all, like, I did it for people like me that were kind of just getting into it, like you don't understand it at first, and it's kind of even a tough topic to get into because it has a lot of gatekeepers. The internet suppresses all of the beneficial videos and the creators and stuff. The Flat Earth Society is actually an entire show program to make people who are doing flat earth stuff look stupid. So when you first start researching, you're going to find this Flat Earth Society and start listening to the Flat Earth Society. And then you're like, oh, well, that's retarded. But that's something that they serve you on a platter when you first get into the research. So I wanted to like steer people in the right direction on where to actually find some good answers on your questions. And, I was basically just trying to help people do their own research. And I also know that no matter what it is that you believe in, like dinosaurs, aliens, flat earth, whatever it is that you believe in, someone else is not going to change your mind. No matter what they say, no matter what they show you, you have to change your mind yourself or convince yourself of anything that you believe in. It's all done by yourself. So even if I told you that the entire ocean is only 4 feet deep, like no matter what I tell you, no matter how many videos you see me sticking a pole down, like you're never going to believe it until you walk out into the middle of the ocean and it's 4 feet deep. And I already know that. So like, why do I need to beat my head against the wall telling somebody something that they are never going to agree with until they go find it for themselves? So I kind of just like, you guys go do your own shit.
Right. To me, and that goes back to people that, really don't see what's going on. If you're that close-minded, not to listen to someone else's point of view and to be open, I really feel sorry for people like that. And their biggest comeback would be, like you said, a laughing emoji or, you're stupid or whatever. To me, when somebody comments you're stupid or you're ignorant, that shows their intelligence. That shows that, like you said, they're not going to change no matter what. And I will tell you that you guys over on the Flat Earth stuff, and you can go back and listen to some old shows when the Queen brought it up. I'm more open to it, and I have researched it and read about it. Even like way back in the day when Justin Perkins mentioned the simulation theory, that we're on a simulation theory. I'm like, yeah, right. And then once he started explaining it, I'm like,
And that's big coming from the guy who's skeptical about everything.
I'm not skeptical about everything.
No, I'm talking about Perkins.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Like,
but
that should have been a red flag for you right there.
Yeah, but
a very common trait of the flat earth is a lot of people go after it to disprove it because they think it's stupid.
Yeah.
And I've never really heard of anybody going back to being a glober.
Well, and there's a lot of, and I'm glad you said that because there's a lot of people that all of them flat earth people are stupid. It's more than just the flat earth to do, you do a little bit of research and it's a lot more than thinking that the earth's just flat. That's totally not the point. There's a lot more. The picture is a lot bigger than just that.
It's 800 points.
There you go.
To start.
There you go. But, and there's a lot of closed-minded people that do just hear that and they automatically tune out,
And you learn, like, you start to learn so much because now you have to question your entire cosmology, right? Because all of the stuff that they're using, it's kind of, it debunks itself along the way, right? So that Stanley Kubrick, he's the guy who created the fake moon landing. He confessed on his way out of here that he faked the moon landing, right? So I forget who the doctor was who was supposed to. There was a doctor right around the same point in time, like in 1958 or something, and he was like adamant that the moon is a plasma. It's not a rock. Nobody's ever going to land on it. And my work is about to break or whatever. And
that wasn't, now, was he like a medical doctor or like
no, like a scientist?
That wasn't Von Braun, was it?
No.
Okay.
The guy's name will come to me. I'm tongue tied on it for a moment.
Yeah. You know,
but at any rate, so if the moon is not this dusty rock in the sky that's glowing or whatever, that cancels out the Titus, and all of a sudden you lost your all of your relativity to gravity. So their theories all start falling apart, you know, one by one as all this stuff comes, and you're like, man, well, and then somebody will come in and say, well, why are all the other planets round? So then you're like, damn, that's a good question. Why are all the other planets round? And then you look at the stuff in the telescope and you think, well, what the hell are we actually looking at? And why does the NASA footage look different than what I'm looking at in the telescope? And what's going on with that? And then you'll look into sonoluminescence and you find out that maybe those aren't planets that you're looking at, and they just added a T to the word plane to throw you off that we're living on a topographical plane. And like, it just gets deeper and deeper and deeper, and stuff starts breaking. Like, there's so much stuff that doesn't make sense that you can't go back to believing what you thought you knew. And I think, like I said, that the biggest part of the whole thing for me was the deception and what they're doing to control humanity through this one lie, and how many people are complacent in this. It's definitely something that's got to be exposed. And I don't know if you actually ended up seeing my thing where I said this is my final video on this, but I used a tweet from Elon Musk, who I absolutely do not trust whatsoever. I don't know what anybody else's feelings are on him.
Dirty Dan loves him.
I didn't say I trust him.
Oh, you love him. You always talk about Elon Musk.
That don't mean I have to trust him.
So I'm like, it's totally unexplainable what he's doing. Either it's like the black suits came in and told him what he's gonna do from now on, or something crazy is going on, because from what I know of Elon Musk, he was raised in the tunnels by the Illuminati, and he wants to put chips in your head, and you know, he's got his Baphomet costume on, and he wants to put like this guy's not one of the good guys, right?
Right. And he wants to put tunnels down into the earth. And Dirty Dan, I don't know if you're made aware of this.
His boring company.
Recently, Louisville has signed on for one of his tunnels.
Yep. 26-mile long project.
Yep. And Bolin made a comment. He's Tesla's boy. And we've talked about on the show before, he could actually be Tesla himself, you know, through DNA. And some people think, oh, that's crazy. And I made a comment here, or I made a note. I want your opinion on, I want you first, Joe, you second, Rebecca, and then you, Dirty Dan. When somebody told me, and this was years ago, that, and this was before I started, you know, doing the show and stuff, that the moon landing didn't happen. I'm like, haha. And, you know, they didn't really have a good explanation why. They're just like, you know, it was all made up. It was a film by Stanley, Kubrick, and, you know, them, you know, fast forward several years, I start doing a show and it comes up, and I'm very open to listening to it, to learning, to finding out what other people's thoughts are. And then I start doing research on my own. And here's what I personally think, based on the picture of the ship that they showed us that actually landed on the moon, and based on them allegedly taping over the actual moon landing. Based on my research, I think you had 2 missions to the moon. I think the one that we saw was totally fake, and it was made by Stanley. I think while that was going on, and the reason I'm saying this is because you can do some research and you can find not the actual audio. Well, you can find some of the actual audio that someone from overseas recorded on a two-way ham radio. I do think that we really did land on the moon, but we never saw footage from there, and that they were so frightened by what they saw, they got the hell out of there. Now, that's based on research that I've done. We've also had a guy named Adam whose grandfather worked at NASA during that time, and his grandfather had always told him we had 2 missions to the moon. And I believe this before Adam kind of, put like a piece in the puzzle. I think we had 2 missions. What's your thoughts on that, Joe?
I don't believe that the moon is a dusty rock in the sky. I think the moon is a metaphysical luminary. I don't think there's anything to land on. I don't think there's anything to go to. I think it's not part of the physical realm. It's not something you actually can touch or land on. So, and I'm doing terrible with names tonight. I wish I wrote this stuff down, but there's a woman that she is like super decorated. She was U.S. Air Force. She worked for NASA. I'm sure I can go back and look all this stuff up later, but she did like a whistleblowing thing about like them bringing all the dump trucks of sand and concrete dust in to film the moon landing and stuff. And like, she got very in depth into how they faked all that crap. And like, and even now, like we were talking about the song thing, if you actually go back now and watch the moon landing, you're like, God, no fucking way. No way. This ain't real.
Yeah.
No one would believe this if they went back and watched it again. I mean, back in the day, I guess it was, something that you wanted to attach yourself to and believe and celebrate with, that this is some major accomplishment. But now when you got some kind of notion that they were fucking lying to you and you're paying real close attention, no way.
Jay, you got to think back then, nobody put gold on tinfoil and flashed it around. So yeah, when they have their spacecraft with a bunch of it on there, it's one thing. It's 2020 fucking too. People put gold tinfoil on their teeth now and call it a grill.
We've talked about it before. When I see a picture of the ship that we supposedly landed on the moon, I mean, I laugh my ass off at that. There is no way.
It looks like those Lincoln log. The connects things.
Yeah.
With tinfoil.
There is no way in hell that landed on the moon. I mean, my 5-year-old grandson could make a better rocket ship than that. I mean, he really could. Rebecca, what's your thoughts on what I said about, 2 actual landings, a real one and then one that we didn't see?
So my theory kind of stems off of everything as it typically does. So if we're going based off the fact that there were 2 missions to the moon, right? The fake one that was broadcast out to everyone, and then what actually happened. And not so much that they were scared, but they were out of their element, right? Very low on the totem pole, because the research that I had done, they had left a recording from all of the different nations, kind of like everybody who signed the treaty to Antarctica. They are in all of different languages. They left a recording. They left metal and a feather, I believe, were the offerings that they left. And so if then stemming off of that, was it at one time a portal to another dimension and then it got turned into, right? Because then there's the theory of the war with Mars and Maldek, right? Where it blew up the Earth and it hit one of the moon. We used to have 2 moons hit the moon. Now there's fake moon, right? And so if it is a fake moon, if it is just something hovering within the firmament, right, that you can physically go to, that they're using for some malicious intent, right, of like an inner moon civilization, then did we leave an offering for whoever is running that? Or is it just a projection of what the moon is actually doing, mimicking the true moon cycles and like what the moon can actually do? And that's why everything's so fucked up, because it's not a real moon. I think I wandered off my point.
I do not believe that the moon is made of cheese, though.
Like
No.
Wallace and Gromit.
Yeah. What's your thoughts, Dirty Dan, on the 2 moon missions?
So those don't bother me nearly as bad as something else in regards to NASA, which would be the 2 space shuttles we've lost. The last one being from a $20 fucking part. Yes, Rebecca.
I didn't finish my
Go.
No, but like, so if that, because your NASA comment reminded me where I wanted it, because I didn't get that far in my notes. The water though. So was it the moon? Was it the moon? Did we go up or did we really go down? Like, was the second mission into the ocean and not anything to do with the moon? And that's what they wanted us to believe. Like, you can't actually get to, it's actually the ocean that you have to go through, because NASA was funded to explore the ocean, and there's like a whole bunch of shit going on in the ocean right now. And that's the portal, like the Bermuda Triangle. That's how you get to Saturn. Eels, like that whole bit. And then that's another segue that I go with. I just recently started interacting with the moon. I don't trust the moon. I respect the moon energy and like the ancestors of the moon, but the thing in the sky right now, I don't know if I trust it. That's it. Okay, now I'm done.
Dirty Dan.
I don't trust anything, be it the 2 moon missions or whatever, to the shit landing on Mars and all the pictures they send back, because we've had that discussion on here before about that bullshit. The thing that bothers me most, like I said, is the 2 shuttle losses. One of a $20 fucking part, and they stated that even though this thing was still doing like 1,000 to 1,200 miles an hour upon descent, and the heat caused the $20 tile to shift and it broke apart, how did they completely recover all of the bodies of the crew? And the one that was in there, like, she's been spotted in Argentina teaching.
Yeah.
So did they really lose the crew, or is that something along the lines of what she said with exploring the ocean? Did we see something we weren't supposed to see when they go right down in the water? Was that something that was just played in front of our fucking eyes that way, or what?
Right. Watch this hand while this one does something else.
Right. So, and like I have too mhave questions to ever believe the fucking, hey, and look at what Purple Prince just said. But I have too many questions that I will never be able to get a proper answer for in regards to the quote unquote moon object up there. Fucking Hambone and I had a good tangent about that back and forth when he was here for Flockfest. Like, you just don't trust it. You don't trust it. There's no ramification or solid answers that I can get or understand that justifies that stupid light bulb in the sky. Like, someone else go pay that fucking electric bill. I don't want to see it. But
it seems like the general consensus of anyone that actually says anything logically about any of this is something's not fucking right. Something doesn't add up, and somebody is lying about this shit. And I think that's the part where like the aggravation comes in, because these people come to your page and they're like, Eratosthenes has a stick and a shadow, and it's definitely a globe, and there's gravity, and that's what holds the water, and you're stupid and you're racist. And it's like, whoa, listen, I'm not trying to destroy your entire world, but I'm just merely trying to point out that there's some shit here that don't make sense. All right, somebody's lying to you, and
we don't know who or about what, but there's someone lying to you about something there
that hurts your whole world, and I'm sorry for that.
To show me where the internet hurts you.
Yeah.
But like, it just, and I don't know. I don't get either how we lost the technology to go. Don't understand that. Don't understand why, someone who no one trusts, who's now only the second richest man in the world, is the one that's supposed to be able to get us back there. And all of his technology and all of his shit seems a whole lot like stems from someone else who was, alive before, that his car company's named after. That's a whole nother rabbit hole we can get into that I think we all agree on.
Oh yeah.
But like, it has always bugged me. What the fuck happened to those shuttles? That's the one that gets me. What has happened to those shuttles? How can you completely, if this thing was supposed to have melted apart, and I'm talking about the Columbia, not the Challenger, which was a whole nother fuck up to begin with.
Oh,
how can you? Yeah.
No, please go ahead. I'll ask. I'll ask when you're done.
I was just saying, how can you pick up all the pieces and allegedly get all the bodies back together? No problem. Everything was recovered. Every last bit of that thing was recovered and been reconstructed, kind of like that Pan Am 747. How can you do that, but not have the ability to go back to the fucking moon? Because if you can make that thing that can go there, and you can have the technology to make the equipment to recover every bit of that and every bit of those people allegedly, how can't you go back?
Because they taped over the directions.
That is the equivalent of finding one of the hijackers' passports in the rubble of 9/11.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's not going to happen. Now, let me ask you a question. You were talking about, well, first, I will give you my thoughts on, you're talking about finding all the pieces.
And people.
I don't think that they did find all the pieces, because just a few weeks ago, there was an article where they found part of the Challenger off the coast in Florida, deep in the ocean. Now, I don't know if the shit's true or not, but that's what the article, was stating. Now,
what if it's just like a giant episode of Lost and like they staged the entire fucking crash?
Don't do that to me. Don't do that to me. I'm still not over it. Fuck.
Did you guys watch Lost?
Yes. You don't even want to hear my theory on Lost. Oh
my God. That they're all dead? That they're all dead?
Yes. And I tell people that, and people could stomp my guts out for telling them that they were all dead to begin with. All that stuff didn't happen. But
listen, that show gets me more worked up than if Mel Gibson keeps his job in the end of the fucking other movie we watched before.
But getting back to the other part that you were stating, let's say that they don't get all the parts, they just get a certain amount. You've got extra shuttles that are modeled the exact same way that were taken out of service.
Yep.
And I'm talking about the Enterprise. You just go cut what piece you're missing out and put it there, or lay it there, and then you have a scale of it, of your crime scene and so forth. And that's easy to do. What you would do is, let's say you have like you have a piece that is triangle shaped missing. So what you would do is you would take some kind of big white paper or something, and you would lay on top and draw the basic outline. Then you would go to whatever material that is, or an actual shuttle that's been taken out of service. You would trace that on there and just cut that shit out, and then that fits. Because like you said, you're not going to find every single thing. That's how I think, based on working crime scenes and stuff like that, that you would have it filled in, The second thing is,
I have Photoshop and it saves all your recent files, so I don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
There you go. And Photoshop, the level that we've got today probably did exist at the time of the Challenger explosion. Because we're so far behind on what technology they actually let us have. So, but going back to the Columbia explosion, is there videos out there saying that those people survived as well, like there are the Challenger people?
Yes.
Okay. I've not saw any of those.
It's so this is it, is that what we saw was just a mere refraction or reflection, whatever. I can't remember which one they used, of light created by heat
Mhm.
and that if you look closely, you can see the parachute deploy as it starts coming down.
Okay.
And it continues to glide down.
Okay.
Meaning, you know, they
No,
landed,
that's kind of
everybody
the
lived a
same-
happy life.
That's kind of the same thing that has been brought in some of the videos about the Challenger that happened as well, correct? That the pod they were actually in, it separated and was kind of out of frame because you had people focusing on the actual explosion.
Well,
and when
yeah.
it got blue, hit, you know, there was a parachute came out and safely
Right.
took them down.
All they saw was, and you could see it in what I think would be the original footage that aired.
Okay.
Of where the fuel leak is. There's not an explosion right away. There's a small fire. Everything starts to separate. The boosters and the main tank start to separate. Everything, you see it come apart, and then there's the boom, meaning the space shuttle's already out of frame, and you see the main rocket go up in flames, and you see the boosters losing their fucking mind, just doing fucking circles and flips in the air next to it.
Real quick, not to change the subject, Rebecca, you mentioned the movie Final Destination. It's been several years, but would you want me to try to get in contact with the guy that wrote and created that movie to come on the show?
Yes.
Okay, no problem. I can do that. Here's a nerd fact for you. That actual movie was written for an X-Files episode, and it was passed on. And so then the writer, whose name is Jeffrey Reddick, took it and rewrote it longer and made the Final Destination movie. Yes, please go ahead.
How in the fuck am I just finding out that you have all of these connections?
Well, I don't know, but I will tell you this. He went to college about 20 minutes from, about 30 to 35 minutes from where you guys live at.
Pennsylvania?
No.
Right, for real.
Well, and it has been, like I said, probably 5 or 6 years, about 4 to 5 years since I spoke to Jeffrey. But I will try to get up with Jeffrey.
Tell him the queen of the flock requests
Okay.
his presence.
Okay. No, Jeffrey's a great guy. He is a great guy. So he was actually, born and raised not far from where I grew up at. And, we have mutual friends, and that's how we met.
Twins?
Yes. I got tongue tied, buddy. I'm sorry. So Goose's resume. Hell, Goose is going to be 48 years old next Thursday. So Goose is
107 years of experience, apparently.
Yeah, thank you.
All that overtime, right?
Yeah. But I will get up with him during the break and see if we can schedule him to come on sometime. So, and I am glad that you do know the Final Destination movies. So,
Oh my God, I've watched all of them several times. I watched the first one when the plane blew up like 3 weeks before I flew to Australia. So that was awesome.
And every time I see a log truck on the road, I am that dick for a minute.
I am the same way. I get the hell out of the way for that. I actually tagged.
Oh no! I don't get out the way.
Oh, I do. I do.
Don't, but I work on them too. They don't bother. She's like, "Don't you fucking do it! Don't you fucking do it!" And I'm like, "Do what?" As I slowly go over behind it.
That's almost half of 100. Thank you very much, Bowen. And there is days that I think about that, my friend. I may not get another 48 years, so thank you very much for pointing that out. No,
I can retire 3 years after I die. I like that.
I am just joking, Bowen. Thank you. But getting back to the Columbia explosion, what's your thoughts on that, Joe? On the Columbia explosion? Do you think it's similar to the Challenger? And let me ask you this as well. That happened in what, 2003?
Yes.
What was going on in the world at that time that they would have?
The war in Iraq was about to start.
Well, I thought that had already started.
I believe the Columbia happened, and then Bush announced like 3 weeks later that they were invading.
There you go. Same as me, Purple Princess. Same as me.
My opinion of everything NASA is, it's fucking Disney for adults. I think it's just all, it's all a show. It's all garbage. I don't know if you've seen the coolant leak on the ISS last week.
Yeah, I
but
did.
The ISS is in a pool. They're filming underwater, and those are bubbles. Like, you're not going to tell me that that's a coolant leak in the infinite vacuum of space. Like, people aren't that stupid. And even if there was a coolant leak in the vacuum of space that you're videotaping, the bubbles are going in all different directions, and this thing is supposedly going 17,000 miles an hour. So, like, the stuff doesn't add up. Stop showing this shit on TV to let people pull it apart like that, because it's terrible. I've actually made a TikTok of delivering one of my shirts on the moon, and I think I've pulled off some better quality than the fucking NASA footage. Like, the shit's a joke.
Yes, it is.
It's insulting, and that's why it's extremely aggravating, because, you know, people will come at you and just tell you, like, you're so stupid. This is real. This is real. I love outer space, and the globe is my world. And all right, so keep on spinning, bro.
You can. There used to be clips, because my dad and I have watched them, of the ISS in a 6 million gallon pool.
Yeah.
And that's where they do practice missions to figure out how to assemble or repair this, that, and the third.
Cool story, right?
Right. But that's what we get, is that when they do the ISS launch, they never show the full thing. They never show from takeoff to dock or from dock to landing. They always cut 12, 13, 14 minutes into the video because of interference, which we know is bullshit, because the Challenger explosion happened like 19 minutes into it or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so if that was the issue, then we shouldn't have seen what we saw years ago. And then when they get up there, it's always once everything's in the background. When you see Earth in the background, it's, you know, the last 5 minutes to where they're coming up close to it, so you can't see the full thing. You just see where they're going to dock.
The amazing blue marble.
But they have shown the full thing, which they have now. I haven't actually at least been able to find any of these clips again of the training, and I say this all in quotes, training sessions they do in that 6 million gallon pool that NASA owns.
Oh, I have you want to see it?
Yeah.
I got it.
I'm glad you at least know what I'm talking about, though, Joe.
While he's pulling that up, I like when they're like, hey, you know, they're doing news. Hey, let's go to the International Space Station. And they're talking and stuff's floating around. And then you notice there's a cup sitting on the table. It's just sitting there.
Yep.
It's not going anywhere. And you're like, and that's the only thing that you focus on is that cup. And you're like, why the hell is that cup not floating? Why is that?
They said that's
it's full of everlasting gobstoppers.
Yeah, sure it is.
It's NASA bagged water.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. I think this is the one. Can you see my screen?
No.
Oh, I'm not sharing.
No.
Okay, all right, I got it. Am I there now?
Oh yeah. Wow.
Whoa,
I mean, I was just impressed because you shared it. I'm not even looked at this stuff yet.
The world is round since ancient times, and you can't understand how people these days think the earth is flat. Actually, since ancient times, it's been depicted as flat. You know what I can't believe? That people still believe the lies they've been fed. I can't believe people still believe we landed on the moon. I can't believe people believe outer space is real. This was in the news yesterday, the radiator leak from the ISS. The International Space Station is an international fake station. It's in a pool. Wake up.
This is Mission Control Houston. You're continuing to
Air bubbles.
take a look at
This is
particles
not coolant in a
leaking
vacuum
from
of
the
space.
Soyuz MS-22 spacecraft.
People have known the world is round since.
So,
That is awesome. That is awesome. Do we need to take a break, Rebecca, or are we good to keep going? Or are you guys good? You're muted.
Yeah, I got it. What do we got left?
I'm going to take the John Dillinger thing away. But I've wanted to ask if Joe, if you don't have anything, I'm going to ask you a question. Dirty Dan and Rebecca a question. People watching on Twitch the question, and then segment 2 will be something. It will either be the news or something else, probably something else. And then segment 3, that's the ball's in your court there, Rebecca. So.
If you guys want to break, we can do like 10 minutes.
Well, he wants to ask a question first.
Well, no, I can do that when we come back, so.
Yeah, let's do a 10-minute break. And then.
Okay. Are you cool with that, Joe? You able to take a break with us?
Sure.
All right. We'll be back in 10 minutes. You're watching us on Twitch on Here to Chew Bubblegum, Queen of the Flock 138, and listening to the Christmas episode of Here to Chew Bubblegum podcast. We'll be back in a few moments. And welcome back to Here to Chew Bubblegum. During the break, guess what happened to me? I got cut off again.
Yeah, he disappeared. But I know Joe has got a.
Yeah, he's got
to cut out here.
Yeah, Joe. You can go ahead and cut out, brother. Let me ask you this really quick, if you've got time. What was your best Christmas when you were younger? Or you can save that till next time that you're on. But please come back on again.
Oh, absolutely. Damn. My best Christmas. I almost want to say that my best Christmas was not when I was younger. I think Christmas really became better for me when my kids got old enough to stop all the bullshit and the hiding the elf and the Santa stuff, and kind of just more focusing on spending some time with your family. And eventually my kids just made me an Amazon list and sent it to me, so that made my shopping easier. And now every year we take a weekend and we go to there's this big outlet mall. It's like 4 hours from us, but we make a day trip out of it, and I just follow the girls around with my card, and we do all our Christmas shopping in one day. And
there you go.
Are you talking about Waterloo?
No, it's in Long Island.
Oh, okay.
So I kind of, I would imagine that I must have had an awesome Christmas as a kid, but I think Christmas became more meaningful as an adult, and when my kids would be on the bullshit, I would say. Gives you a little better appreciation for the holiday.
Right. Very, very good answer. Well, Joe, thank you very much for your time. We do want to have you back on again. We prefer whenever we have the next round table, we'd love to have you on that. I know me and Rebecca's already talked about that. So we have a seat waiting for you. So
sounds good.
All right. Thanks, bro. You have a Merry Christmas. Thanks for coming on. And
Merry Christmas, y'all. Everybody stay blessed.
Again, be sure to check out Joe on TikTok at, let me flip over here. Oh, Joe's still here. So look at my note. Fed Up Gear 5x5. So
good night, y'all.
Good night, brother.
See you, buddy.
Dirty Dan, what was your best Christmas and why? Twitch audience, you be thinking of something too to answer that.
I mean, I have two that I could call a best Christmas. One was definitely younger, and it just like there was a year where it just kind of changed for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I had always played the game of guessing whose handwriting it was, and not that I didn't believe in Santa, but knew it wasn't what they said and all that. And then I want to say I was 11 or 12, And like, I felt thankful for the time I got to spend. And yeah, I was 11 because it was the first Christmas after my Opa had died. And I was just super thankful to spend time with my family and to see everybody be happy in the holidays. It snowed that year, which had been something my Opa had always said he wanted. So it was like his first Christmas gone. It snowed. That was like him being there with us. And it was peaceful. And then the other one as an adult was be 6 years this year. I got to go and take about 16 Christmas trees to families who didn't have one, couldn't afford one, didn't have the time to get one. Artificial trees are stupid expensive, first off, for no damn reason. And where I used to live, it was very few and far between, like actual Christmas tree lots, or family farms were what they really were. Stoney was the guy I always used to go to. But it was really cool getting to bring people Christmas trees and see their faces and their kids' faces light up, because then, their kids thought Santa was going to come this year. They couldn't afford a Christmas tree or whatever. And a couple of the kids thought that meant that they weren't going to have Christmas, that Santa wasn't going to come and all that. And it was just really nice to do that.
Very good. Rebecca, what about you?
I don't know if I have like a best Christmas.
Uh-huh.
I have some that are like particularly sticking out in my memory. And I don't have like I've spoken about this before. Like I don't have many. This is a whole nother theory on my life, but like I don't have a lot of childhood memories. Like I have secondary memories. Like I remember people telling me the story, right? So that I remember the story that they told me. And Bob always goes above and beyond. Always one ups. Always just goes that extra mile, right? And this was the year before my brother was born. So I was about 7. And Santa brought one of those like the kid-sized snowmobiles, right?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Upstate New York. Okay.
This is one I was hoping you were going to talk about.
We got a lot of snow. And Bob had me convinced for years, and I still struggle with inanimate objects having feelings because of this. Okay. Like this Toy Story was big, right? Toy Story came out. It was a whole thing. And so Bob would always set up my Beanie Babies when we would go out somewhere, so that when we came back, it would look as if like we interrupted their meeting and everybody froze, right? And like shit was always like moved around my house, and like we thought like the stuffed animals did it. Okay. So he had me convinced that like elves existed, and they were always watching. Like I'd leave candy out for him on the windowsill and like it'd be gone, right? And Santa would come and leave a mess with the cookies and the milk. It was really just my parents, right? I know this now.
Right.
But Bob and my mom got in cahoots with each other. And this is the story that I've been told, is that my mom is holding on to my dad's feet as he hangs out the dining room window with one of my shoes on the end of a broomstick, putting elf prints in the snow to the snowmobile that was sitting outside. How do I not believe this shit as a child? You know what I mean? Like, this is why I'm not doing Santa Claus with shit. I'm not going to put her through this trauma.
That is awesome. That is awesome. And there's my kids growing up, I had a Santa outfit that I'd bought when my daughter was, really little. And so about a week or two before Christmas, I would always dress up in it. And I would come and knock on the door. And, I would go in and talk to them and sit. They had no clue it was me, and I mean, when they got older, they knew who it was. I actually think my daughter Mercedes, I think I scared her the first time I did it, and I had to actually like pull the beard down and show her it was me. But I mean, she was so young, she forgot, and I got to do that until she was like 14 or 15 years old. No, not really. Probably like 7 or 8 years old. And I did Darian the same way, and they always thought it was cool. Santa comes to my house and visits me. Christmas with my kids always was better, one of the best. And there's so many, but one thing that I got one year in the mid 80s was the Knight Rider car kit that had the Michael Knight action figure, and it had the sound effects and a red light that would go back and forth.
On kit.
Yes. And I love that. I mean, I wanted that. I played with that and played with that. Probably the ones that stand out now that I think back and think a lot of is in the last Christmas I spent with my grandmother, and then 2011 I saw my dad a few days after Christmas and had a really good dinner with him. I knew at that time that something, he told me a few years before something was wrong with him, but he didn't want anything done. And, we had a really good conversation. It lasted, we were probably there for like 3 hours, and we exchanged Christmas gifts. And I think Darian was there. Darian's mom was there. Mercedes wasn't there. And I remember leaving. I did not want to leave. But I called him more after that because he lives, several hours away from me at the time. And, 3 months later, I was told that like 3 months later, I was told he had pancreatic cancer. And so those mean a lot to me. And, if you guys get a chance to do something nice for someone on Christmas, do it. Do it to do the right thing. Do it to help these people out. Nobody's perfect. We all make mistakes. But I'm very thankful for what I have been blessed with in my life. Rebecca, we're moving on to segment 3. Do you want to do question of the week responses, or you want to work?
I just posted it today, so there's only a couple comments on it, and I didn't know that we were doing the responses for that.
We will just wait. We will not have a question of the week until we return on January 8th.
Goose, they make a Knight Rider kit for your truck.
Yeah, but dude, I'm not 7 years old anymore. So
a big lifted truck.
Those do look pretty cool. I got a little bit teary-eyed there. I hope y'all couldn't tell. Not over the Knight Rider stuff.
It was probably over the Knight Rider stuff.
Yeah, it was actually. But Rebecca, what about TikToker of the week? Who do we have for TikToker of the week? Now, this TikToker will be starting on Christmas Day. I know you guys are watching this right now, but that will be our TikToker of the week, or a few weeks until we come back on January 8th.
So this is, I want to nominate actually like an OG TikToker that kind of took a sabbatical from the flock and like did some work on herself, and was a huge milestone in her journey, and is now back. And she used to like come to the Zooms like back in the garage days, and she's actually from Finland, and her name is Maria. So she just recently like came back in, and she messaged me on Telegram. So I want to shout out. I have her screen name somewhere.
Okay.
I'm on it. There it is. There it is. Shit mess is back. Okay. Thank you, girl. There it is.
That is what? SMARIA
NNN.
Yeah. So if you blockers want to go grab her account, for those of you that know her, or if not, but yeah, she's cool.
I will definitely do that. So our TikToker of the week is, now how would you pronounce that?
I just call her Maria.
Okay. So I shouldn't call her Smyrna when I Smyrna. I'll just call her. I'll just call her Maria. So
yeah.
Maria is our TikToker of the week. Before we start giving plugs and wrapping stuff up, is there anything that you guys want to say before we go? Because this will be the last show of 2022. The last live show of 2022.
What a year it's been.
I want to say that I fully disagree with New Year's resolutions. This is not the time of the year to start anything new. This is the time of the year to break away old habits, because you can't start new habits and healing and everything like that, first of all, in the dead of winter, because that just doesn't make any fucking sense. This is not the new year. It's just the calendar new year. And you can't bring anything new in without letting go of what no longer serves. So I don't have resolutions. I have affirmations going into 2023.
Well, I'm same as you. I don't have resolutions because every day when I wake up, I try to be the best damn person that I can be. So, Dirty Dan, you already said yours. Yours was quick. And I want to thank Rebecca. I wanted to thank Dirty Dan. I wanted to thank you guys on Twitch, you guys listening. I think 2022, and I'm talking about Here to Chew Bubblegum wise, was amazing. And the show has grew so much. Me personally, I have also grew so much. And I am a better person today than what I was when we first started 2022. And I'm very thankful for that. And I treasure you all very much. And getting to know you guys has been one of the highlights of my year. And thank you very much. I wanted to give a very special thanks to Joe from fedupgear.com. Be sure to check him out on TikTok at fedupgear5x5. Also, be sure to check out upcoming episodes of Just Listen on YouTube and follow the lovely Rebecca Short, Queen of the Flock on TikTok and Queen of the Flock 138 on Twitch. Dirty Dan, what do you say?
As always, be sure to check out some of the friends of the show. We'll start out with another one in the beginning of the new year when we first come back. But for now, check out DJ Nikki and CarbonCaptureShield.com. See the things that they've done this year to grow and progress their mission of making the earth a more sustainable, better place to live again. Goose's absolute favorite thing to say, Till Valhalla Project. Just a simple spread the message, spread the awareness, spread the word. You never know when putting a smile on someone's face will change your lives. And although there's still some things up in the air with them, check out Adventures with Purpose and the good messages that they have brought and are still bringing while things get sorted out. Go look at the peace and closure they've been able to bring. And if you are affected by something like that, still reach out to them, because everyone a part of that was a part of that team in one way or another can still come and help you all.
And that'll do it for this week. But remember, we all have a voice. If we stand together, we can make the world a better place. We'll see you on January 8th. And until then, so long for now.
Maybe I'm not leaving. Maybe I'm just going home.
Lock her out.
Thanks for listening to Here to Chew Bubblegum. You can always call, text, or leave a voicemail for Here to Chew Bubblegum at 606-373-3396. Tune in next time as we dive deeper into things the government doesn't want us to know.